Who's gonna get lucky this week?
You're about to find out on Motoring 2004.
TSN's Motoring 2004 is brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil. Oils fine-tuned for different engines. And Midas, Total Car Care. We do that.
Overlooking the Toronto Harbour and skyline, the Docks Entertainment Centre is called Canada's biggest playground for good reason. There is simply something for everybody. It's also home to Canada's newest drive-in that sports the world's largest screen. Once again, the Docks is our site for our annual Car of the Year 1 hour special. You met them off the top of the program, but let me now introduce the ladies who will pull the wraps off our Car of the Year. Julie Hinton, Miss Swimsuit Canada 2004, and runner-up Natalie Green. And joining me is our man behind the wheel each week on Test Drive, Graham Fletcher. Now, Graham, each year, of course, we have new cars, we have new trucks. Some years are better than others. How would you judge the class of 2004?
It's been absolutely outstanding, but the most impressive part is that between them, the domestic manufacturers have managed to put some wonderful wheels on the road, which is a good thing for all concerned. Now, before we get on with the business of the day, I should point out that all of our nominees are significantly new cars. And by that I mean it's much more than just putting lipstick on that proverbial pig.
He has a way with words, doesn't he? Also, along with our picks, we'll get to see what you, the viewers, have chosen as the best in the class of 2004. All our nominees have been posted on the Motoring webpage, allowing you to cast a vote on each segment as well as the overall Car of the Year. We'll have those results throughout the program. But first, let's get things started with a bang by checking out our nominees for Performance Car of 2004.
The new Viper's numbers as they appear on paper make you sweaty. Drive it and the tiny hairs on the back of your neck stand on end. Simply it brings 500 stampeding horses and a road-ripping 525 pound-feet of torque, which is enough to pull the skin off a rice pudding in one go and warp it to 100 kilometers an hour in 4.7 seconds. Driven sedately, the experience is awesome. Hammer the gas and it becomes a runaway roller coaster ride. The launch of the Cadillac XLR signals that the once mighty luxury car purveyor is alive and now serious about getting back on track. The interior is a delight, while the powered hardtop convertible is a snap to operate, and it delivers the best of both the coupe and convertible worlds. The drivetrain is also as smooth as anything offered, wafting the XLR to 100 kilometers an hour in just 6.7 seconds. The Audi S4 is simple to sum up. It handles like the dickens, comes with a very good all-wheel drive system, and with 340 horsepower on tap, it is blindingly quick, needing just 5 seconds to reach a ton. It is also packed with luxury, and if you take the wagon, has versatility beyond its station. Two of the cars in this category were exceptionally good. The Audi S4 was unbeatable, and so it gets our Performance Car of the Year award. Now, as good as the Audi S4 is, it's a shame that we don't get its big sister, the RS6. With 450 horsepower, 415 pounds-feet of torque, it's the fastest street-legal Audi ever, because it'll get to a ton in just 4.6 seconds. Now, if Santa happens to be listening, you know, Brad, make mine an electric blue wagon.
In your dreams. All right, we've just got started. We've got a lot more coming your way as our Car of the Year special continues on TSN.
Kenzie's Corner with Jim Kenzie.
This may look like an automotive square dance, but I actually saw this happen in Paris about 3 years ago. 4 cars arrived at the intersection at the same instant, each one intent on turning left. For all I know, they're still there because asking a Frenchman to back up is like asking him to give up his wine or to stop smoking those horrible cigarettes. Now, every North American city is also afflicted with gridlock. Now, we don't have enough panache or finesse to come up with a 4-way intersection block like the French can do. Our biggest problem is cars jamming an intersection. They enter an intersection without enough room to get through, then they get hung up on the red light. Now, what's this jerk in the green pickup truck doing sitting there? He probably told his wife he was going to be at work all day, and here he is blocking traffic for everybody. So please, folks, don't enter an intersection unless you've got enough room to get through it. And if you want to give up wine and stop smoking those horrible cigarettes, those aren't bad ideas either. This is Jim Kenzie for Motoring 90.
Underneath that cover is Motoring selection for the best vehicle for 2004. And it won't be long before Julie and Natalie will be pulling the wraps off our winner. But let's now join Graham for our next category.
The economy car was once viewed as the poor relation in the automotive world, but that's no longer true. As well as being affordable to buy and economical to run, they're now as reliable and as well built as anything out there. On that note, let's check out the nominees for this year's Economy Car of the Year. When the Echo was introduced, it picked up Motoring's Car of the Year award. Mechanically, it was a very worthy winner. However, it had a face only a mother could love. Enter the new Echo hatchback. Offered in both 3- and 5-door models, the latest version is as technically endowed as it is affordable. The icing on the cake, however, comes in the form of its good looks and a range of customization options that run from an audio upgrade to a lowered suspension and bigger wheels. With Daewoo dying an agonizingly slow death, it left an orphan in GM's considerable portfolio. The good news for Suzuki and those looking for affordable transportation alike is the car in question has surfaced wearing the Swift Plus badge. In a nutshell, it's large enough to be useful, small enough to be city-friendly, and it has the tools needed to get the job done. Plenty of comfort and versatility and enough power to pass a slower-moving car. The Mazda 3 has got big shoes to fill as the Protégé was a highly rated car. Thankfully, it's not only up to the task of filling those shoes, but also of making many other manufacturers sit up and take notice. The sedan is good, the sporty hatchback great. Both models handle very well, are comfortably sized, exceptionally well finished, and come with plenty of power. On that score, the base 2-litre 148-horse engine is good. The upsized 2.3-litre motor in its 160 horses, well, it's simply great. While each of these vehicles would make a worthy winner, the Mazda 3's shoes are just too big, and so it picks up Motoring's Economy Car of the Year.
You know, every year we expect the SUV bubble to burst, but Graham, it's not only getting bigger, but every manufacturer is now getting in the act. I mean, a Porsche sport utility, who would have thunk? And they're getting bigger.
Well, yes, you're right. Some are getting bigger, but in the case of our 3 nominees for Best SUV of the Year, they're also getting much, much better. Cadillac's rebirth continues with the launch of the SRX, a luxurious, sports-oriented 7-seat SUV designed to build on the ground prepared by the radically different CTS sedan. As such, it shares the CTS's platform, chiseled lines, and remarkably balanced handling, especially when equipped with GM's optional magnetic ride control system. It also brings the latest generation Northstar engine, one that pumps out 315 horsepower in a silky smooth manner. The RX 300 was the first off-roader never actually designed to go off-road. The good news is for the legions of loyal fans is that the RX 330 is better in every respect. It is more refined, larger, boasts even more toys, and now gets the power the original demanded, a 230 horsepower V6. It also takes a big step forward in the handling and safety departments, as it not only comes with a full whack of electronic driving aids, it's got no fewer than 7 airbags. Volkswagen's new Touareg not only handles well on road, it is a stalwart in the dirt. It is also electronically endowed, especially when equipped with the optional air suspension, 4-zone climate control system and a locking rear differential. Of the two engines available, it's the Audi Source 4.2-litre V8 that is the real deal. With 310 horsepower on tap, the Touareg pulls very well across a broad range and puts a ton on the clock in 7.8 seconds. Once famous for its people's car persona, Volkswagen now retails what can only be termed as the new benchmark in the luxury SUV category, and so the Touareg wins our Best New SUV of the Year.
Which of our nominees will be crowned Overall Car of the Year for 2004? We'll find out as Motoring's Car of the Year special continues right after this.
Well, I guess we're supposed to be at war with our customers, and at $1.25 a gallon, we're supposed to tell the person who wants to buy a Hummer, who say, no, we're afraid out of social responsibility, we are not going to sell you this car. You have to join the lottery, and only one customer in 10 will be allowed to buy one. What happens is the people in government, whether it's state government or national government, and the environmentalists, the minute you say, well, let's raise the price of fuel, because if we make gasoline the same price that it is in Europe, at over $1 a liter, people start asking themselves, should I really be driving something this big? But at $1.25 per US gallon, heck, the fuel bill doesn't matter. I think as a country, the US has to decide what does it want. Do we want reasonably sized vehicles that get good fuel economy, or do we want cheap gasoline? Pick one, because you can't have both.
You better not be rolling. Solid as a rock. Unlike a turbo, where you've got to wait for the responder. When so equipped, the Altima is a 4-door sedan with the lion of a heart. With the lion of a heart. The heart of a lion. But it still enjoys a price advantage. And that's how Brad and I got me my ride home. Wait! How am I supposed to work when the bloody cameraman's laughing at me? At a tick over 4 seconds, it's a full half second than its stablemates. Top speed, it's a mind-numbing 275 kilometers an hour. Not that I'd ever try that, of course.
We're back at the Docks Entertainment Center in downtown Toronto as Motoring's Car of the Year special continues. Julie and Natalie are standing by to eventually pull the cover off our Overall Car of the Year. And of course, we'll see who our viewers have selected through their votes on the Motoring webpage. Let's now join Graham for our next category.
You know, in years past, the Japanese have dominated our family car category. Indeed, last year's Car of the Year was the Mazda 6. This year, however, we've got an up-and-comer from GM. Let's check out our nominees for Best New Family Car of the Year. Based upon GM's highly respected Epsilon platform, the Chevrolet Malibu is one of the best domestic cars ever released. Not only is it tight, nimble and very versatile, especially the Max version, its ride quality is so good it is usually reserved for cars well above the Malibu station in life. Simply, not only will the Malibu serve GM very well, it will force the competition to strive for ever higher standards, which is good for all concerned. In the past, there were few compelling reasons to buy a Mitsubishi. The new Galant adds more than a mittful. When equipped with the up-level 3.8-litre V6 engine, it's more than up to expected standards. Its handsome inside and out comes with all the amenities demanded, and there is a ton of power, predictable handling, a comfortable ride, and plenty of space. It is now worthy of a second look. The original Prius had one flaw. It was less than Corolla sized and more than Camry priced. The latest generation addresses this aspect in spades. Not only is it now big enough, it has the flexibility and amenities demanded. Beyond that, the hybrid system is also more powerful, yet has lower emissions and better fuel economy. In short, the Prius has enough in its arsenal to sell as a family car in its own right, and so its clean ethic is now a very valuable bonus. Next, we have our nominees for Sports Coupe of the Year. Now, before the emails start landsliding in, one of them does have 4 doors, but it is not a sedan. When Daimler and Chrysler merged, many wondered what the outcome would be. The Crossfire is the first indication. Beneath its sculpted head-turning sheet metal lurks little more than a fixed-roof Mercedes-Benz SLK. Not only does this give the Crossfire the tools it needs to compete in a very tough segment, it means it's a blast to drive. The feel is nimble, the power is adequate, and the amenities up to snuff. Just don't expect to carry too much luggage. The RX-8 puts a functional rear seat in a coupe-like car that has the buttery driving smoothness only a rotary engine can deliver. That this silky demeanor comes from a new engine that is cleaner and better on gas without giving up anything in terms of power, well, it's a bonus. Factor in its aggressive pricing, wonderful road manners, and a look that's got classic stamped all over it, and the RX-8 is a top contender for anyone in the market for a sporty set of wheels. The original Solara was little more than a 2-door version of the rather dowdy Camry. The new version not only adds a much-needed touch of flair to the look and feel, it gets more fire in its belly. True, this is not an out-and-out sports car, but with 225 horsepower under its hood, decent suspension and responsive handling, it is now a viable contender, even if that does mean it's for Best New Boulevardier of the Year. Motoring Sports Coupe of the Year goes to Mazda's deserving RX-8.
Two lease payments for free, $2,000 cash pack, 0% financing. I tell you, the car industry is in an incentive trap. The consumers love it because they're getting great deals. The car companies hate it because they're not making any money at it. So how can they wean the consumer off of these incentives? There's only one way, and it's what we're seeing here on the Car of the Year show. That's to build lots and lots of really good cars and trucks. Because the car companies, bottom line, have to build cars the consumers want to buy, not cars they have to be bribed to buy.
One of my main concerns is sport utility vehicles, but that's with mixed emotion because I see the need for all-wheel drive, but I don't see the need for a tall vehicle that doesn't do well in poor weather. What I'd like to see happen is the trend towards station wagons continue, but station wagons with all-wheel drive. Audi makes a great one, Subaru is a great one. There are more and more coming on the market all the time. Now, where I live in Saskatchewan, sometimes the big trucks, the big SUVs make sense due to road and weather conditions. But for 90% of the public, they can be replaced with a smaller, more versatile product without problem.
Underneath that cover is Motoring selection for the best vehicle for 2004. And it won't be long before Julie and Natalie will be pulling the wraps off our winner. Well, let's now join Graham for our next category. What is the most popular vehicle in North America is the question, and the answer is the same every year, the pickup truck. But Graham, it's a different breed behind the wheel.
Yeah, you know, the days when they were used exclusively to take trash to the dump are long gone because they're gaining favour in the personal use market. That means that the old rubber-seated, plastic-matted monsters of yesterday, well, they've long gone, are being replaced by a vehicle more aptly described as a luxury vehicle with a box out back. And on that note, let's take a look at the nominees for Best New Truck of the Year. The Dodge Ram is big and brawny, yet as soft and opulent as any true workhorse rightly deserves to be. It's offered in regular and quad cabs with short and long boxes, as well as 2- and 4-wheel drive. Of the 3 engines offered, it is the Hemi that serves this gentle giant the best. Its 345 horsepower makes light work of its 8,950-pound maximum tow capacity. Now, if enough isn't enough, try the Ram SRT10. The quickest truck on the road thanks to its 500 horsepower Viper engine. The F-150 covers the bases when it comes to models. Along with 5 trim levels, there's regular, super and crew cabs, a choice of 3 box lengths, 2 body styles, 2 engines, and either rear or 4-wheel drive. The newest Ford also boasts a new frame that is 9 times stiffer torsionally than the outgoing model, and an interior that does not take a back seat to anything. It really is a massive step forward for Canada's most popular vehicle. Nissan wants to alter history with its new Titan pickup. Rather than being the biggest of the mid-sized breed, the Titan is as full-bodied as any of its domestic half-ton competition. It also comes with all the necessary truck features, a 5.6-litre V8, a rigid box frame, and it's available in King and Crew cab models with a choice of 2- and 4-wheel drive. Now, if prospective punters can get over the look, the domestics may face a legitimate full-size challenge for the first time. The winner of our Best New Truck of the Year is Ford's F-150 and its picture-perfect interior.
We're now going to head to the Quaker State Garage and join Mr. Pickup Truck himself, Bill Gardner. As we all know, Bill's always been a Chevy kind of guy, although this year he did a long-term test on a Toyota Tundra. Who would have thought? But like the rest of us on the Car of the Year show, Bill likes to offer his opinion on the state of the automobile universe, so let's head to the garage and see what's on his mind.
Well, Brad, you guys picked the F-150 as Truck of the Year. Well, I'll tell you, I'd rather have anybody's truck, even Ford's, ahead of any car. A car to me is a useless piece of equipment. I love the pickups. I'll tell you one thing, when you have a pickup truck, you're everybody's best friend. You're the guy they call to move the furniture, pick up the stove, fridge, etc. One thing you got to remember, if you want to survive a number of years with your truck and not get any marks on the box, and my truck's about 12 years old and it's in pretty good shape, underneath that dirt you won't find any scratches or nicks. One thing you got to remember, any cargo that goes in the box, rule of thumb, goes in the tailgate and comes out through the tailgate. Don't load anything over the sides and you'll survive many years with your truck in really good shape. Now, in terms of your cargo, you've got to make sure that you move it up to the front of the box, and then if it's anything that could be insecure when you're moving or with the turbulence of driving in the wind on the highway, you've got to secure that load. So make sure that you've got yourself some adequate and appropriate tie downs to tie your load down. Make sure they're always with your truck. One thing, a pet peeve of mine about pickup trucks has been that for many years there hasn't been adequate storage back in the box for your gear, your booster cables, tie downs, ropes, etc. For example, I'd really like a place to store my tow rope because it's usually wet and dirty after I've used it, and you don't want to put it in the cab. Now, Nissan has finally answered my prayer, and on the new Titan pickup truck, right in this area here, they've incorporated a lockable storage box for storing such items. That's really great. If you remember Ford pickups in the 60s and 70s, they had a really big storage box in this area ahead of the rear wheels. Now, the domestic trucks with their 8-foot boxes have got a huge area here that's untapped potential. I'd love to see the engineers incorporate a big storage area. They could probably even do it on both sides if they moved the fuel filler a little bit. So there's some area where the domestic engineers could really get one up on the imports. Nissan's got a great thing though with that Titan storage box. Now, my pet peeve is all these squat to pee guys that are buying pickup trucks now. They're driving the price way out of sight. If you've got leather interior and a loaded to the gills truck and you never put any cargo in the back, go buy a minivan or a sport utility, because you're knocking the price so high. Guys like me that want to use a truck for actually using it for work, we've got to pay through the nose to get it. Till next week, I'm Bill Gardner for Motoring 2004.
So what I really can't understand about what's going on in this business, and I've been doing it for 17 years, is that the real buyers out there, mom and pop who are earning $45,000 to $60,000 a year, are not being offered the range of products that the rich people are, the people who sold their Nortel early. So this year for 2003, you've got 10 sport utility vehicles, 10, count them, priced over $45,000, and most of those, the majority, are closer to $100,000 than they are to $45,000. Compare that to entry-level cars. There's 6 basic entry-level cars under $18,000, and there's 5 family cars. But you know, some of those entry levels and family cars are essentially the same model, but they're optioned up differently. So if you're just the normal person out there making the normal amount of money, your choices are a lot less interesting than this barrage of product that are up at the high end. Now there's a reason for that. That's where the profits are. So even though the average transaction price for a car in Canada is about $28,000, the real profits are the cars over 40 grand, and that's what we're seeing a real barrage of. I think I have to go for my car of the year would be the Mazda 3, a sedan or hatchback. Personally, I like hatchbacks. It's a value package, but it is a car with a chassis that really responds well. It feels richer than it is. And you know, you can start this car at 16 grand or load it up to 23. Either way, you have a car that has good braking, good handling, looks very expensive inside, and I think they're going to sell every one they can build.
We're back as Motoring continues its Car of the Year special. We're now minutes away. Julie and Natalie will pull the wraps off our overall Car of the Year for 2004. Here's Greg.
The four-door sedan appeals to 2 very different types of buyer. On the one hand, you've got those that like to be driven. On the other, you've got those that like to do the driving. Let's check out our nominees for Best New Sports Sedan of the Year. Acura's TL has always been lauded for its power and handling, however the look made many snore. Not anymore, as its style is now attractively aggressive. It also packs the needed punch with a thundering 270 horsepower VTEC engine driving the front wheels through either a 6-speed manual or 5-speed automatic. Throw in first-rate handling and delightful interior and you have a world beater. As with most of its new products, Nissan's Maxima is more than a little different to the eye. It is, depending upon your point of view, either handsome or an eyesore. The thing that is not up for question is its motive power, as it's still one of the sweetest engines offered. Ditto the Maxima's ride, handling and interior amenities and comfort. Volvo's reputation was built at the altar of safety. The S60R takes this reputation and adds some interesting wrinkles. A new adaptive suspension and chassis control system supports the endeavours of its 300 horsepower turbocharged engine, while a sophisticated all-wheel drive system ensures the power reaches the road in a slip-free manner. Now this was a very tough choice, but the all-new TL is good enough to trounce its competitors, and so it wins our Best New Sports Sedan award.
And you know, Graham, without a doubt, the one vehicle that really surprised me this year was that TL.
I loved it.
They've always built good cars, but I've always found Acura's a little bland. This one breaks the mold. But now we've got a segment we didn't have last year.
No, that's right. And that's because I think everybody was saving their best for 2004. Let's check out our nominees for Best New Minivan. The Freestar is Ford's newest minivan. While it does bring a larger and smoother 4.2-litre engine, a very supple ride and class-leading safety equipment, it looks just too darn much like the Windstar. It could also be successfully argued that the Freestar is a regressive move, as it limits its seating capacity to 4 unless you're prepared to remove the centre row of seats and pile the luggage between the front and third rows, which is less than safe. Of all the minivans available, the Quest is the funkiest and furthest removed from the Soccer Mum label that is so easily attached to most of its competitors. It is also better for its more powerful engine, competent handling characteristics, and a long list of amenities. Where it trips over its own versatility is in the seating arrangement. This is yet another van that ignores a family of 5 and the luggage they need to carry. Pile it in front of the third row or leave it at home. That leaves the Toyota Sienna as our minivan of the year. If for nothing else, it is one of the few that is truly flexible in terms of its passenger and cargo configurations. Indeed, for those with a super large family, it comes with an 8-seater option. Factor in a lengthy list of standard equipment, plenty of power, responsive handling, and well, it becomes a no-brainer.
All right, you've got your eye on one of these brand new cars or trucks you've seen here on the Car of the Year show. You're ready to pull the trigger. We told you about the incentives a bit earlier, but be very careful. Is that 0% financing thing, does that last for the entire length of the term? Maybe it goes to 12% in year 2. You got to know that. Maybe there's some kind of qualification in the fine print. This deal available to corporate employees only. Do you qualify? When the banks say no fee loans, they mean no fees that you can see. They're not in this for the good of their health. They're in this to make money. I got no problem with that. But you got to read the fine print. You got to be careful. When you put your name on that contract, you've made a commitment. So before you sign the deal, know the deal you're signing.
There's something that concerns me, and that's braking. A couple days ago, we did braking and acceleration tests on roughly 50 cars. Out of the 50, there are about 10 cars that don't have ABS. And the stopping distance on all of those is substantially longer than the stopping distance for the cars with ABS. From 5 to 10 meters on average. That's up to a couple of car lengths from 100 kilometers an hour. That's the difference between life and death in a serious situation. What concerns me about that's not a great surprise, but what concerns me is that a lot of manufacturers who even were making ABS standard are now backing off on it and making it optional. They say people won't pay extra for ABS. Well, I think there are two problems there. One, that people don't recognize the value of it and won't pay for it. But the other, that the manufacturers are willing to sacrifice that safety feature for a price advantage.
If I had my own personal choice, every 2004 vehicle, definitely 350Z Roadster. Looks great, sounds amazing, and for the price, it just gives you all the performance of an $80,000 car for 50 grand. So you can't beat it.
We're back at the Docks Entertainment Center on the Toronto Harbour. Julie and Natalie will soon be revealing our overall car or truck of the year for 2004. Let's now join Graham for our next category.
You know, if I were a rich man, my garage might house the cars that make up this year's luxury prestige category. Simply a supreme set of wheels to be driven on a whim or as the drive dictates. If business were the order of the day, the wheels of choice would be Audi's A8, the most spacious of this group. With limo-like legroom in the rear and a massive trunk, it accommodates a full-size family with ease. It's also powerful, agile, elegantly attired inside and out, and packed with leading-edge technology. The footloose and fanciful wheels belong to Jaguar's exquisite XJR. Where the previous model was a tad tight in the rear seat and the trunk was token at best, The new car brings the dimensions needed as well as a new aluminum chassis and much better road manners. And with 390 horsepower under its hood, it hauls off the line in a manner as impressive as its passenger-pampering opulence. BMW's new 545i is the technical sophisticate of the group. In base form, it's a delight. Factor in its optional active suspension and steering, and it sticks to the driver's desired line with a tenacity usually reserved for a world-class sports car. Throw in the world's most advanced engine and a category-leading time of 6 seconds to reach 100 kilometers an hour, and the 545 is equally at home, whether grabbing groceries or thrashing round a racetrack. For its balanced blend of luxury and sporting appeal, BMW's 545i wins our Luxury Prestige Car of the Year.
Our Midas Tip of the Week concerns taking care of your car of the year during the winter months. I've noticed a lot of my customers that have got real expensive vehicles sitting outside in the driveway exposed to the elements when junk like this sits in their garage taking up good space. Now, if that's the case with you and you can clean out your garage and get your vehicle in, there's a lot of benefits you'll reap from just doing that. First of all, you'll save warm-up time and you won't have to worry about defrosting windows or scraping off ice and snow off your car if you can get it inside. But do I practice what I preach? Well, I've got a small garage and a lot of stuff and I can't get a vehicle inside. But the next best thing you can do with your vehicle is use your block heater. And many vehicles that are intended for sale in Canada come factory equipped with block heaters. You'd be surprised how many people have got them on their vehicles and don't even know they're there. The cord is coiled up, hidden under the hood, so look for it if you've got one and use it. Now in Western Canada, it's a fact of life that you have to use a block heater, but in Eastern Canada, a lot of people aren't aware that they've got them. Get yourself a good outdoor extension cord like this one and plug it in. Use a timer. You only need 4 hours of lead time with the block heater turned on before your intended departure. Get your cord and wrap it around either the driver's wiper blade or around the mirror so that you'll see it, because it's an easy thing to do. You come out in the morning, if there's been a snowfall and the cord is covered, you can forget that it's plugged in and drive away and do some damage. If you don't have a block heater, about $100 parts and labor will put one into your car. One other thing we need to talk about, in the wintertime, those piles of frozen snow and slush that you see in the background can cause real problems. First of all, if you back into them parking your car, you can easily bend the exhaust system and collapse it. Secondly, if you back into them and plug the tailpipe off on your next cold start, carbon monoxide could get into the vehicle. It happened the other day in Montreal and someone lost their life because of it. I know it's a freak occurrence, but it's something you've got to be wary of. Be aware of it. Be very careful that you clear that tailpipe away and that you don't damage or bend that exhaust system during the winter time. That's your Midas Tip of the Week.
All these things we've looked at this week are preventive maintenance. We're trying to catch problems before they develop into costly repairs. Next week, we're going to look closely at belts and hoses. Until then, I'm Bill Gardner for Motoring 88.
Well, that's probably the toughest part of the job of designing a crash dummy is how do you know what a human would behave like in something like a crash test. Obviously, we cannot put real humans in there and get that data. So the data has come from a variety of sources. There have been many experiments on animals. There's been anesthetized pigs and monkeys that have been tested. The pig's chest is very similar to that of a human, so a lot of research has been done on that. There also has been a lot of testing done on cadavers. None of these things are, as you mentioned, totally realistic to what a live, healthy human would behave like, but that's where some of the data comes from. Cadaver testing, where they would, for example, inflate the lungs with air and then impact the chest. and have lots of instrumentation very similar to what we've seen on the dummies. Some of the other data, which is at the other end of the spectrum from the cadavers, a lot of the research done in the Air Force and the Navy, they do use live subjects where you've got the healthiest 19 and 20-year-olds in the world, where they put them on sleds and accelerate them, and they use what they call the ouch endpoint. They would take them to the limit of when they said ouch. And these guys, like I said, being as strong and healthy as they were, they make a game out of it as who can withstand the most. Most of the data I have seen from cadaver testing has been done in Europe. It's been quite a while since I've seen any data from testing done in the United States on cadavers. But I can tell you some people that would gladly accept your body if you'd be willing to donate it to them for research.
We've now reached the time we've all been waiting for, when Julie and Natalie will reveal our overall Car of the Year for 2004. That's when we return, so stay with us. We're back at the Docks Entertainment Center in downtown Toronto as Julie and Natalie stand by to reveal our overall Car of the Year for 2004. But before they do that, as we know, each year Jim Kenzie likes to have his say on which vehicle should get the honors each year. So here's Jim.
Every year I rag on Brad and Graham because they get the Car of the Year wrong. And that's usually because there's one obvious candidate and they never fail to choose something else. But this year, it's going to be hard to criticize them because there is no one obvious candidate. The Toyota Prius, that's an interesting car, huge improvement on the old one, great fuel economy. But ride quality, handling, interior room compared to other family sedans of the same price range, it's really not there yet. Mazda 3, spectacular little car, might even be the best-selling car in Canada in a couple of years' time. But does it have that sort of imaginative quality, that kind of leap of technology that really a Car of the Year should have? I'm not sure that it does. Audi A8, spectacular car, but they're going to sell a couple hundred of these things in Canada. That's not significant enough. Subaru STI, brilliant car, pretty hard riding, pretty expensive. I'm not sure that qualifies either. I'm making this decision as we go here. I haven't pre-planned any of this, but it got me to thinking, my Car of the Year might just be a truck. Now, be still your beating heart, Brad, because you know I hate trucks, but this car really isn't a truck. It's a station wagon. It's classified as a truck. It has the world's most remarkable suspension system. It's up to 1,000 pounds lighter than some of its prime competitors. It comes from one of the most prestigious brands in the world. I'm talking about a station wagon from General Motors. My Car of the Year, the Cadillac SRX.
Okay, Jim, now before we reveal our winner, let's see which car our viewers selected as the overall best vehicle for 2004. And there you have it. The Mazda RX-8 is the popular choice.
We've reached the most important part of the show, and that's to announce our Car of the Year. But before we get to that, let's check out the vehicles eligible for this year's award. Best new economy car is the Mazda 3. Family Car of the Year goes to the revolutionary Prius. BMW's 545i walks off for the best new luxury prestige car. Sports Coupe of the Year is the Mazda RX-8. Acura's Radical TL wins our best new sports sedan. Performance Car of the Year goes to Audi's explosive S4. Best new minivan of the year goes to the Toyota Sienna. The SUV of the year is the Volkswagen Touareg. Ford's fancy F-150 picks up the truck of the year. And now, Motoring's Car of the Year for 2004. The Toyota Prius. Not only is the Prius now a complete family car, it is a planet-friendly set of wheels that does not cost an arm and a leg. Indeed, where those who picked the ecological road were once forced to pay for their choice, it's now part and parcel of the package. And as the hybrid vehicle is destined to play an increasingly more important role in tomorrow's world, it's very reassuring to know the Prius is here to lead the way today.
Well, congratulations to the Prius and Toyota. Now, before we go, we want to thank the entire gang here at the docks for their help. And of course, we want to thank you, our viewers. Some of you have been watching us since the program first aired in 1988. And we also want to thank you for taking part in our Car of the Year web poll. We don't always agree, but you know what? That's what makes it so much fun. That's it for this week. We'll see you next time out as we continue to bring you more stories about cars and the people who drive them.
My car of the year, it's a truck, the Cadillac SRX.
You're kidding me.
Absolutely.
Cadillac SRX.
Sure. Great car. 7 passengers, V8, 1,000 pounds lighter than a Touareg.
But it's a truck. You don't like trucks.
Well, you say, you're going to call this a truck. Really, it's a station wagon. My car, that's what, okay, I'll do that second.
We believe if you're going to do a full-size pickup, you better do one that truly is full-size. And we kind of refer to the Tundra as a 7/8 truck. It just wasn't a full-size truck. I mean, this is a full-size truck in every way. So we wanted to build a real full-size truck, not just something that kind of looked like a full-size truck.
TSN's Motoring 2004 has been brought to you by Quaker State Motor Oil, oils fine-tuned for different engines, and Midas, Total Car Care. We do that.